Welcome to the Five Reasons Sports Postgame Show, aka the Post Up. I'm your host, Royal A. Shepherd, and I'm joined today by my guys. Brian is the King, aka Brian Young, Ariel Latias, aka LOL, Ricky J. Mark, aka Ricky J. Mark, JD/MS, and Alejandro Viegas, aka Alejandro VG32, who is the producer tonight, stepping in for our guy Manny. Gad should be joining us. So, to hell with the introductions. Let's get back to this. I'm not mad because we talked about this a couple of games ago. Whereas we cannot get mad at what we expect to happen anymore. Like this team has gotten me to the point now where I should be enraged about this game. A lot of goodwill in this game got wasted. Just being honest, based off of sorry shit happening all across the board. So before we get started, one thing I got our bro for the 199. Don't know. He said Miami doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Don't worry, they'll be in the play-in. Let's say Alex Campbell. Thank you for the 499. Don't know. He said Max Strus and Gabe shot selection make you miss Hero, don't it? Would it have helped? Is my question. So we're gonna start with Ariel tonight. Excuse me, Ariel. Give me your thoughts on the game, bro.
Thought it was a fun game. Didn't quite end the way we wanted. What are you going to do? Big woof. I mean, listen, this team is who it is. We've gone over this time and time again. Kind of disappointing, but kind of don't really. I'm not disappointed anymore. You know what? I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. That's where I'm going to go with this. I thought that early on, they started the game out pretty well. The intensity was good. They were getting stops and attacking in transition. I thought that, Chicago was kind of aiding that by just being completely clueless defensively in transition and never, ever stepping up and stopping the ball. So the Heat were doing whatever they want on the fast break. But really the story of the game is the Heat's inability to lock in defensively for long stretches and get going offensively at the same time, which is really kind of the story of the season. As well as, they got nothing outside of Bam, Jimmy, and Trevor Ariza, who combined for 74 of the team's 100 or 102 or whatever they scored. They got nothing. I don't even know what the bench scored, but it was definitely less than 10 points. So I know you were missing a couple of guys. I get that. But again, we're at the point in the season where no more excuses. You need to win these games. The Hawks and the Knicks both lost tonight. You needed to win this game, and you fumbled that opportunity. The Bulls were missing arguably their best player. Didn't matter. They found a way to win.
It's not arguable. Levine is definitely their best player. So we want to thank our guy HM for the $5 donor. He said it's time for Spo to catch some serious heat, fellas. They're going to get their ass beat in the play-in. I think I'm done watching y'all. I mean, it's fascinating to watch, just being honest in certain respects. Because to Ariel's point, this is the second game like this that they've lost where they had an opportunity to move up in the standings. They could have gained some ground on Atlanta in the game versus Atlanta. They could have gained some ground in this game. And they just shit the bed. Every time they get in these situations, I'm at the point now where it's hard for me to get mad because I do not expect them to win these games. I just don't anymore. Brian, tell me your thoughts on the game tonight, brother.
Yeah, man, I was prepared to come in and say, they won a hard-fought game against the Bulls. Shouldn't have been close, but whatever. And, like you said, they shit the bed. And I could be mad, but I'm at the point where it's just like nihilism is my, general life philosophy. And now I'm applying it to the Heat. I just don't care. They look like shit tonight, but they could look like world beaters tomorrow, or I guess Wednesday's the next day they play. It's just who this team is. You have no idea which team is going to show up, and that's just how it's going to be. I could make a point about how the Bulls shot 53% overall, how they got blitzed in the paint, how, even though Jimmy had a good game, I kind of thought that this would be his opportunity to really, put up numbers considering the Bulls are one of the worst teams defending the paint. And, Jimmy, and he did, Jimmy put a lot of pressure on the Bulls defense and got what he wanted, and it just doesn't matter. I could talk about the fact that the Heat bench, I believe, only scored 17 points, which is not great. You don't win NBA games like that. But, man, it's just this is who the team has been all season long. It's just consistently inconsistent. And at this point, it is what it is.
That's 17 points between 5 different players. Just want to throw that out there. Alex Campbell, thank you for the 499. Don't know. He said, I don't want to watch Goran anymore. He needs to retire or go after this season. It's to me, it's not about how Goran is playing. It's about how much Like the role that he's been forced into, he can't do it. He can't play it anymore. So I was gonna go to Alejandro, but he jumped out. So Gad, we'll throw it to you, brother. Anything from the game tonight?
Okay, I want to start this off by saying this. I like to get on here and support Gabe Vincent in limited minutes, keyword limited minutes, because this motherfucker showed up and decided to brick after brick after brick. And I mean, the defense was cool. Like there was charges drawn, whatever. Bro, you cannot come in your first meaningful minutes closing in the NBA. Come in and take a step back three and brick the shit out of it. That cannot happen. Like, oh my gosh. It was the funniest thing ever watching that. Like, I mean, the fourth quarter collapses are honestly not surprising. We got outscored by 14 in the fourth quarter. It's dumbfounding. And the craziest stat to me is that they had 18 turnovers. We had 5. We lost this game against the Bulls without Zach LaVine. I don't care who we were missing. We had Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo.
You got 56 from those two.
It is what it is. They did great, but it wasn't enough.
So I have 2 countering stats to the ones that you offered. The Bulls shot 53% from the field tonight, and they out-rebounded Miami by a sizable margin. I think it was like 17 rebounds that we got out.
We didn't make a damn shot. 51-34.
They out-rebounded us in spades. Ricky, sum this game up for us, brother.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait. Give me 1 second. I didn't read the donos. I'm sorry. Thank you, HM, for the $5 dono. He said if we re-sign Victor Lemon Depot this summer, I might really be done. Did we actually lose that trade? Victor is incapable of staying healthy. We don't know if we won or lost that trade just yet. But no. Victor Oladipo is probably going to be very cheap this summer, even if we do re-sign him. He's going to be next to nothing. So thanks by Pride by Pack TV, $4.99. Don't know. He said after that phenomenal third quarter, Spo sits Bama to the 5 minutes left in the fourth. We'll get to the rotations a little bit later on too, because the lineup combination that Spo was throwing out there, the no Jimmy, no Bam lineups without Tyler or anybody else off the bench was absolutely mind-numbing. Thank you, $5. Talking movies. He said, sick of Spo thinking the beginning of the fourth quarter doesn't matter. We always blow a fourth quarter lead in the 4 minutes and lose all the rhythm.
Hey, that was in the game to start the fourth, though.
He was.
Yeah.
Okay. But go ahead, Ricky. Sum this game up for us, brother.
So I was watching this game from the start, actually from pretty much tip off, and I'm thinking, okay, all right, this is a pretty decent game. Everyone's doing what they need to, and then Duncan goes down with a mysterious illness and never comes back, which honestly, in this day and age, that worries me. All right, I'll just come out and say that. We'll find out more details about that a little later. Bam and Jimmy are doing their thing. Jimmy is playing out of his mind in the third quarter, and everything is setting itself up for a solid Heat win. Not necessarily a blowout, but a solid Heat win where it's like, oh, okay, they beat the team they were supposed to. Bam is bouncy. He's active around the basket, grabbing rebounds. I know he only got 6, but it felt like he had a lot more. His presence seemed to feel like it was a lot more than the 6 rebounds. And then a switch seems to flip midway through the fourth quarter when Nikola Vucevic just goes off. No one can stop him. I think there were like three centers on there. And then all of a sudden, Miami can't do anything. It was the weirdest thing in the world. I was prepared to come on here like, hey, yeah, cool. Solid Heat win. Let's keep going. But one thing that a lot of us need to understand about the grand scheme of all this, I don't remember the last time in which Miami wasn't in control of their destiny. Back in 2015 or 2017, the Heat had the chance to make the playoffs. They missed the playoffs by like a tiebreaker, and that was because they lost 3 of their last 4 games. I'm not saying Miami's going to miss the playoffs. I consider them a playoff team, but it's weird. But at the end of the day, I think it's just funny because I'm just sitting here watching these comments flow in from like, oh, Spo sucks, and it's hilarious. It's like you can set your watch to it. The Heat lose. Oh, Spo sucks. It's blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see what happens when we win in 3 days. It's whatever. I've been numb since November.
Yeah, I think the team is pretty much got most Heat fans in a state of just general like confusion about who they are. Like it's a meh. like type feeling at this point. So we want to thank we got a couple of donos. So we want to thank Jason Adeboale for the $4.99 dono. He said, I'm done with Spo. Can't keep blaming every single player. Look at the players the Bulls and Hawks had on the floor these past few games. I think that's unfair because they probably don't mean the same thing that the players that the Heat were missing mean to that team. I think we got Christian Cardis with the $1.99 dono. He said, can't wait for Ola mid-level exceptions return. That's probably what my boy gonna get. Thank you, Alex Campbell, for the $4.99 dono. He said, how Max Strus and Gabe taking shots like they on max contracts. Wow, just wow. That's all we had out there. Thank you, Poetic Lifestyles, for the $4.99 dono. He said, Bam plays more like a power forward than a center. Wouldn't mind seeing Detman with Bam a few times together. You're not going to see that. You probably hate it because then off the bench you get skinny belly.
You think they can't score now? Try and put Bam and Dedmon on the court together and see how the spacing looks.
Yeah, and then it's like you taking Trevor Ariza off the floor. You do know that who was our third best player.
You're taking Gabe Vincent off the floor. Obligatory.
Oh, that's a win. I take it back.
He's gone.
Yeah. So okay. So I'll go back to you, Ariel. Ariel, what was the biggest reason for this L tonight? Like I know it was like overall the game. Oh wait, before we do that, we want to thank one of our sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. That's Therapist Preferred. Therapist Preferred. It's a CBD company. They sell CBD products 100% THC free and third lab verified. They have a lot of great products, creams, gummies. I have green apple gummies, but you go to this website, therapistpreferred.com. Use the promo code 5 Reasons. That's the number 5 Reasons, and you'll get 20% off your order plus free shipping. That's therapistpreferred.com. Thank them. They're a new sponsor. So, Ariel, we'll come back to you, bro. What was the biggest reason for this L?
The Heat don't give a shit. They just don't play hard enough. I mean, you look at the stats which would tell you that they got out rebounded 51-34. Those are hustle areas in my opinion. They don't play defense hard enough, and frankly, when you let a team like the Bulls, who are not a very good offensive team, they're not a terrible offensive team, they're not a good offensive team, shoot 41 of 77 from the field while going 11 of 29 from 3, which isn't great. But then if you look at their inside the 3-point line shooting, they're 30 of 48. Is my math correct? I think it's 30 of 48. That's really insane. So to me, it just comes down to not playing hard enough. I don't have anything else to say.
I agree with you.
Yeah, Ricky, I'll let you get to your counter because you look like you had the most adamant counter argument. I want to thank Christian Cardis for the $1.99 dono. He said, "Who more wishy-washy, the Heat or their fans?" I think the fans are a byproduct of the wishy-washy play of the Miami Heat. And we want to thank Ralph the Ace coming in big time with the $19.99 dono. He said, "Do love Detman's body language and hustle. Too bad we can't end games after one quarter. Going to go hit up Patron now." Okay, cheers, gentlemen. My guy, appreciate you and all your donations. Thank you, Jason Adeboale, again for the $4.99 dono. He said Capella, Trae Young, Zach LaVine don't mean the same as Tyler and none. Stop it, Royal. I'm saying they don't mean the same to our team that they do without Capella, without Trae Young, without Zach LaVine. These teams can still produce points, and Miami just cannot get anything from their bench without Tyler, and it's damn sure without none. But Ricky, I'll let you counter what Ariel was saying real quick before I move it to Brian.
Sure. I don't know if I agree that they didn't care or that they didn't try hard enough, because I remember 3 distinct plays late in that game where Ariza and Jimmy pretty much swarmed. I don't even remember who had the ball at that point. I don't remember their name. And then there was a point where Belly dove to the ground and was able to save that play. There were a couple plays late in that fourth quarter that almost salvaged this game. And then unfortunately, you have Gabe Vincent missing that 3, Jimmy missing that layup, and then a few rolls, a few bounces here and there, and it's probably a different game. I think at this point,
which 3 you talking about? Gabe missed a lot of 3s tonight, Ricky.
Well, the one
that I can fucking tell you about right now.
The one in the corner. The one in the corner that would have, I think, tied it or
towards the end,
one.
Or then, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was the Ariza 3.
Look, I'll say to that, I hear what you're saying, but to me, when I say that they don't give enough of a shit, it's a matter of coming out for 48 minutes and playing at maximum effort for at least as much of that as possible. You can't flip the switch in the fourth quarter or at the end of the season or whatever it is, because again, remember, this team is not, generally speaking, the most talented team in the NBA. They are a try-hard team. They have to play hard and the only way for them to execute their defensive scheme to maximum effectiveness is if they play hard and they focus, and they just too frequently don't do it.
So I will counter what you're saying with this. Jimmy played hard as shit tonight.
Yeah, I thought they played
Jimmy
hard.
did. I think Jimmy played his ass off. But the problem is we cannot ask Jimmy to sustain that level of play for the whole goddamn game by himself. Brian, what do you think was the biggest area of concern for the team tonight?
I'm going to go to the bench. I mean, again, I mentioned earlier, they scored 17 points. You know, if you look at the NBA team stats, the lowest scoring bench in the NBA right now is Boston at 30 points a game, right? If you just get to that mark, you win this game pretty comfortably. You know, over the season, Miami is number 22 at 33 points a game, which is obviously not good, but you can't go way below that when your offense in general is piss poor. So I mean, I know that they didn't have Tyler, they didn't have none. You know, Duncan went out in that second half, but still, like, you should be able to score against the Chicago Bulls. This is not a good defensive team. You know, guys like Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, I get it. You know, they're fringe NBA players, but you need a bit more production than that. You can't essentially get outscored, or, you know, he's not a bench guy, but you can't have Kobe White play your bench to a draw, essentially. I mean, that kills you. So that's my number one thing.
That is interesting because I didn't even think about that. Like, I didn't even think about how Kobe White outplayed our entire bench, and he struggled for most of the game. Thank you, Andrew Green, for the $4.99. Don't know. He said, was Depot even on the bench? Effort looked to be there, just didn't have enough, in my opinion. I mean, according to Spo, we always have enough.
You didn't have Zach LaVine.
Right.
Whoa, what are we talking about?
Gat.
They got some guys.
Well, no, I think the effort was actually there. I think that's part of what makes this loss a little bit more disappointing than what I actually expected, is because the effort was there and we still lost to a really shitty team. Like, this just is a microcosm of what the team is. Like, they're not very good right now. That's just what it is. But I do want to touch on the bench. Brian actually stole my point. I do want to pull up some culture minutes here because I was actually making this with like a very positive tone. I thought we were going to win this game in the fourth quarter. I'll wait till that graphic comes up, but it was the bench sucks. And like, it doesn't matter who's on the bench. It's just whoever's coming off our bench outside of Dedmon sucks. Dedmon, once again, played a really good game, in my opinion. He didn't play enough minutes. I don't know how you're going to stagger the Bam Dedmon mids.
I don't think Alejandro heard you. Alejandro, he wants you to put up the graphic, the culture minutes graphic that he sent you.
Minutes.
Oh, there's a graphic?
Por favor. Yes, we got a little bit of a graphic. We changed it up today. We changed it up. Yes. I want to do something different. Damn.
It does apparently. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So the culture minutes. Wait, don't put any comments up because I need to read the bottom as well. But the culture minutes today, you had Dwayne Dedmon, obviously consistent throughout the entire time. You had Gabe Vincent hooping for 1 point of the game when he drew 2 charges, and that was about it. KZ Okpala came in and dove in from the top rope to try to kill Nikola Vucevic. Didn't work out.
I like that play.
For the rest of the game. Bielitsa actually looked like a borderline serviceable G League / NBA player. Same with Strus. For the majority of the game, they just looked like G Leaguers out there, so that was cool. And most importantly, make sure to try out the delicious chicken club salad at your local Miami Grill. It is promoted by Nemanja Bjelica. He's been eating that for the last 3 weeks. That's why he slimmed down. I don't know if you guys noticed. He looked much, much slimmer today. So make sure you go to Miami Grill, get your delicious chicken club salad, and watch this bench consistently suck for the rest of the season.
This is amazing.
The culture minutes fan the Bills. I love it. I absolutely love it. Bravo, Gadiel Cartagena.
Thank you.
Nicely done, man.
Ricky, you didn't
sir.
agree with Ariel's effort point. What do you believe was the biggest concern with what you saw from the Heat tonight?
Well, yeah, I think for me it was just the fourth quarter. Midway through the fourth, it just switched. A switch just flipped off. It seemed Miami was ready to go, but something just happened, and then it didn't work anymore. So that's pretty much it. I mean, they were on pace to win, even with the bench having some issues. We were supposed to win that game, but we didn't. But hey, that's the season.
So, I mean, I've seen a couple of comments come in, and we get Heat fans get this rap, or especially Heat media, if that's what you want to call us. We get this rap for letting Spo off the hook. Like, what type of blame do you want us to put on Spo tonight when he has to bring Gabe Vincent and Max Strus off the bench? Ariel, what criticism, if any, could you give to Spo tonight?
So he started out the season kind of like experimenting with a lot of lineups that didn't include Bam or Jimmy on the floor, and those lineups were getting killed. And, on Heat Twitter, we were all screaming, like, you can't play minutes without at least one of them on the court. You have to be staggering them at all times. And then he seemed to go away from that and back to what we want him to do as the season has progressed. Most of the time, one or both of them are on the court at all times. He chooses tonight, we're missing two of your, more important offensive players, guys who would otherwise anchor your bench, or at the Kendrick Nunn in the first five and then Tyler on the bench, to not play at least one of them on the court at all time. And then you're trotting out a lineup of like Dedmon, Ariza, Dragic, Strus, and Vincent. I mean, listen, I'm a big Spo defender. I'm usually on Spo's side for most things. That's inexcusable. There's no way you can go any minutes tonight without one of, if not both of, Bam and Jimmy on the court at all times.
I feel like he takes Bam out early enough to the point that by the time he subs out Jimmy, Bam should be ready to go. Like that's just how I've been looking at it. But he takes Jimmy out and he just leaves Bam on the bench. And I don't understand how he expects to score with that lineup that he's trying out there. Brian, do you have any criticisms for Spo tonight?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't like the rotations, but I do think that, this is the theoretical part of it, right? I think that Spo sees Goran as someone that can at least keep the offense afloat, versus a team like the Chicago Bulls. It didn't happen. He's 35, 36, he's getting up there, and we've seen this season he's not the same Goran that he's been. But I think in Spo's mind, he trusts him and he says, all right, well, we should have enough with the guys we have on the floor. And, you got bupkis from it, which is, he's going to continue to do it because that's his guy, right? So at this point, I don't know that it's ever going to change, but it is what it is. $9.99 donation from Jason Adebwale. Thank you. We appreciate it. That's a decent sized donation. Every big play,
third or fourth one too.
Yeah, shout out to you, Jason. Every big plays like an all-star against us because of the switching defense. We just get cooked by bigs now instead of guards. At this point, it's counterintuitive, and we still get cooked by guards. Yeah, there's literally nothing you can do, though. It's either you have Bam switch out in the guard and, you get abused inside, or Bam stays inside and you get whoever is on the guard is going to get blown by and they're going to, essentially have a layup. So, with this roster, there just isn't really a solution, I don't think. All you can really hope for is, you have Bam switch out and hopefully, you have either Jimmy or Ariza that is on the big. But at the end of the day, size matters, and 6'7", 6'8" guys aren't going to have much of a chance against 7-footers. That being said, Dan Teese is only a little bit taller than Trevor Ariza, so he probably shouldn't have had the game inside that he did. But it is what it is at this point. We've seen it happen over and over, so there's just no real solution there.
So there is a counter. I do think there's a counter. Sorry, go ahead, address the dono, and then I'll hit on that.
Okay, so thank you, Yardy from Ja, $4.99 dono. He said he haven't made the playoffs in back-to-back years since 2012, 2013, 2013, 2014. Do y'all think that changes? Yeah, I think we're going to be in contention for the play. I think we're going to the play. I think we're going to a play-in game. I've been on that train for a couple of weeks now. I think we're going to be in a play-in game because that's just the way this team plays. But Ariel, I want you to go ahead and make your point.
There definitely is a counter, though, Brian. Like, I totally agree with what everybody's saying in that switching all the time is extremely counterintuitive, because now what's happening is other teams are recognizing that, and so they're hunting the matchup that they want, knowing that the Heat are going to switch, and eventually they're going to end up with one of the Heat's guards or wings down low on a big like Nikola Vucevic, and they're going to be able to get the ball inside and score on the Heat. The counter is don't switch all the time. Just switch sometimes, and then play man sometimes, and then play zone sometimes. There's a lot of different things you can do, but I think the usage of like the amount of switching that the Heat do ends up working against them, like that comment had said, because again, teams know that Bam's going to switch out every time, so they're going to involve him in the pick and roll, in the screen action, in whatever it is, and then they're going to just have to get the ball to the big down low, and it's barbecue chicken.
Yeah. So Gad, we didn't get a chance to get to you. Any criticism that you have for Spo?
I think everybody kind of touched everything, right? Brian said size matters, slipped that in there. I want to point that out. I thought that was very interesting that Brian said those words, that phrase. It's a little sus. But yeah, Spo wasn't great. There's been many bad moments for him this year. So it's nothing new. Like he's messed up a lot of different times, and tonight was another situation like that. Like Billy Donovan decides to put in 3 tall people, and Spo puts Gabe Vincent on Lauri Markkinen.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Play Precious, Deadman, and Bam together?
Shit, I mean,
at this
point, yeah.
Why not? Like, I've been hearing it about Spo too, and in my honest opinion, I've given Spo B minus for the season in terms of his overall. Like, part of it is him making bad decisions. The other part of it is what the fuck is he supposed to do with this roster? Like, I don't really know. Like, he doesn't necessarily have all the pieces that we're saying. In fans' minds, we might have the pieces, but in reality, like, some of these pieces just don't match up with what we're trying to get accomplished. Like, I don't think the answer has been on this roster since before the trade deadline, and it's not on there after. So, Ricky, wrap us up on Spo, brother.
Yeah, Spo's a great coach. If you give him enough talent, he can get you far in the playoffs. He can get you to a finals. I mean, he managed the Big Three. He was a 47-win coach before the Big Three even got there. I mean, one thing I will say about Spo is that he can be very stubborn with some of his rotations, especially if the other coach switches something up. It will sometimes it might end up in an L. He might adjust for the following game, but for that game, a lot of times I've noticed that Spo doesn't recover in terms of from a tactical standpoint, unless the players themselves drag victory from the jaws of defeat. So I think Spo, he is who he is. It's just a matter of give the guy some talent. And at this point, when you look at who missed tonight, the only DNPs that weren't health related were Precious and Udonis Haslem. Udonis Haslem doesn't play basketball anymore
until Wednesday.
No, not even. And Precious is.
You won't get credit for that year if he doesn't play a minute.
Yeah, Precious has those moments where he's unplayable even now. So I'm not even sure if that would have helped. You know, I think we're at the point now where, let's say if the roles were reversed, you would have seen all these people in the comments killing Spo for not exploiting the smaller players or exploiting the bigger guys. So it is what it is at this point. They'll find something to complain about regardless.
That's fair. And to your point, Spo has always kind of been a little slow on the draw in terms of in-game adjustments. He's more of a big picture tactician, and he gets better as the season progresses. So when people talk about this team flipping the switch in the playoffs, I think Spo is the most likely candidate in terms of people on here that's able to draw up something that's going to help this team boost its chances in the playoff, as opposed to players turning it around, because that's kind of like what he does. He just gets better as the season goes on. But this season hasn't been one of his best, and I want to make sure that I acknowledge that. So thank you, Ravi Patel, for the $2 dono. He said, any concerns with the chemistry issues within the team? I don't think so. Like, I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary for a team like ours. Like, we invite confrontation. So seeing Jimmy and Bam argue the other night wasn't really a big thing for me. Excuse me.
It happens.
But it happens. So I haven't seen any disasters. We haven't gotten into individual play. Oh, before we do that, Ricky, pay Vertagear.
Vertagear. You see this right here? Beautiful. Vertagear is a wonderful company that makes fantastic gaming and streaming chairs for all of you out there that are looking to just feel comfortable, whether you play video games, whether you stream. You know, not everyone will be as great as we are at what we do in terms of covering the heat after games. But if you want to be second or third best, by all means, get a Vertagear chair. There's room for second best, there's room for third best, there's room for everybody at the table, okay? Vertagear will take care of you. You go to vertagear.com, you click the link at the bottom of our stream once the stream is over, and let's just say you'll benefit. You'll benefit a great deal, okay? Because look, Vertagear makes you feel comfortable, offers great lumbar support, offers great support for the back of your head, especially if the back of your head look ridiculous. For those of you that remember Mad TV, at the end of the day, look, take care of Vertagear, and at the end of the day, your booty will thank you. I promise.
Yes, indeed. One time for the glutes. Thank you, Ricky J. Mark. So we haven't gotten into any individual players. I'm going to let you guys pick your own player tonight, but you cannot pick a player who was picked before you. Ariel Latiz, you starting us off on this train today, brother. Pick a player. Talk about the game from tonight.
I'm going to go with Trevor Ariza. I thought he played a really good game. One of his better games with the Heat. He had 18 points, 6 boards, couple steals, couple blocks. I thought he was everywhere defensively. In the passing lanes, just that dude is ridiculously long. His defensive anticipation is very good. His recovery speed and his ability to get back to ball handlers when they get past him is phenomenal, and that's aided by his physical tools. Thought he shot the ball pretty well without looking real quick. Let me look real quick as I say that. Okay, he went 6 of 14. I take it back, but it's not terrible. Look, he played a really good game. It's just, it makes it more like, I guess, painful if you're not like me and you just kind of have accepted what this team is at this point, that they were able to get such a good performance from him, 30-something from Jimmy, 23 from Bam, and not be able to beat a team missing their top scorer and best player. But I thought he played a really good game, and I think he's been a phenomenal addition to the Heat, and I hope that they can keep him going forward.
So I agree with everything that you just said. But sometimes when I watch Trevor Ariza play basketball, I'd be like, who the fuck does Trevor Ariza think he is out here on this offensive end of the ball? The boy be out there. I think, Brian, were you the one making the point earlier in the season about how Trevor Ariza don't give one shit about who else is on the court? He's the best player. Like, you on mute, Brian. You on mute.
No, maybe. I don't know, but it feels like that. I mean, most of the time, not most of the time, a lot of the time, Trevor Ariza will do some crazy shit where you're like, what the hell? What are you doing, bro? You're not Michael Jordan.
He thought he was better than LeBron in high school, if you go back far enough. That confidence is still
Makes
there.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, thank you, Jason Adeboale, for the $4.99. Don't know. He said, real Heat fans know Spo's offense has always sucked, though. Last year was the outlier. He's always been a defensive-first coach. True, but I don't know if you want to say that his offense sucks. It's very difficult to pick up what Spo wants to do on both sides of the ball, and it asks a lot of your body. Brian, Trevor Ariza's out. You can pick the next player.
I'm gonna go Dwayne Dedman. I mean, he didn't have a massive impact, but he, 8 and 5. He's out there to be tall, right? And he's very successful at that. He was the best bench player by far. These past few games, he's shown a lot of energy, keeping plays alive, getting offensive rebounds. I'm surprised. I think that he only had one less offensive rebound than the Bulls tonight, which sounds impossible, but I'm sure a lot of that had to do with Dwayne Dedman's activity. So he keeps that up, and he's going to be a pretty solid player for them going forward. In the play-in game, I feel like he's going to make a huge difference.
Okay, whether it be one or two play-in games.
That's such a good playing game.
Gad, who you picking tonight, brother?
I'm going to go with Kendrick Nunn because I have a greater appreciation for him after tonight's game. I've been touting him over the last few games, but I watched Goran Dragic, Gabe Vincent, and Max Strus attempt to play basketball for I don't even know how many minutes combined, way too damn many. And I really hope Kendrick Nunn is healthy. I hope he's okay and he's able to play on Wednesday because he's been our most consistent guard the entire year. And, I mean, if we have to roll out these guards again, trust me, I don't even know if we're going to the play-in game.
Tell him.
11 seed is where we're headed. I don't even know if that's possible mathematically, but we deserve it.
With no lottery pick.
Oh, could y'all imagine if the Heat miss the playoffs and that pick jumps to top 4?
Number one.
We have Tyler Hero.
So happy.
We have Tyler Hero. Stop.
You're right.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Ricky, who you picking tonight?
Sir. Believe it or not, I'm going to go with Max Strus. I know he's going to get a lot of flaming and everything, but there was a stretch where I think he exploded for 6 points at one point. It was a quick burst. At the end of the third. Here's the thing about Max Strus that I've always appreciated. He brings a physicality to the game that Duncan Robinson doesn't. I like the way that Max Strus is, at least in his base form. I think he's got a lot of potential, at least within this offense. I think he's got a lot of opportunity to develop. He's obviously in his first year essentially after coming back from a knee injury. There wasn't really much you could expect from him, but hey, Jimmy can't take every shot. Bam definitely isn't going to take every shot.
Jimmy can't make every layup.
Yeah, well,
that's for sure.
That's not his fault. And
He won't
Trevor
even try
Ariza
to make
took 14 shots today.
Not his
So
fault.
Max Strus, I like Max. I hope he sticks around with this team for a while because I think the best is yet to come for him, even though we only got 6 from him tonight.
I know we went heavy on the bench guys, but I'm going to continue that trend. And I'm going to talk about Nemanja Bjelica because in his 11 minutes where he only scored 1 point, this was one of the best games Nemanja Bjelica has played in the Miami Heat uniform, in my honest opinion, and that's because of the way that he competed. I think it was obvious to everybody that he looks a little slimmer. Disappointing for Miami Grill, but good for Heat fans. I think he looked a little slimmer. And but in that dive on the floor,
He almost popped the ball.
Listen, in the words of Gadiel Cartagena, my boy was oozing culture at that minute when he hit the deck for that basketball. So yeah, I do want to talk. I do want to talk about Goran and Bam though, because I don't think we spent enough time on those two. And then I'll give 2 of you Goran, 2 of you Bam. So actually, I'll let you guys pick again. I'm feeling generous tonight. We're gonna go the other way now. Ricky, you can choose between Goran and Bam. Talk about their game tonight.
Goran Dragic played 35 minutes tonight, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. At this point, considering he put that up, you would hope that he would have scored maybe 4 or 5 more points. That could have been the difference. But 35 is a lot for him right now. He can't play his age. He can't. And given how thin this bench was tonight, I mean, you don't have Oladipo, Nunn was out, Iggy was out, Tyler was out. They had to lean on him because the only other option was Gabe Vincent, who played 30, and Max Strus, who played 17. So he was all right. He did what he could, but tonight wasn't the night where you were going to get Game 7 versus the Charlotte Hornets. Goran. No.
Fair enough. Gad, pick one and talk about him.
I'll talk about Bam. Listen, Bam, statistically speaking, it looked like a really good game. What did he have? He had 23, 6, 2. I mean, there's only so much elevating that you can do of other players around you in terms of assists, but, I feel like I wanted more from Bam down the stretch. I know it sounds like a broken record saying that, but I feel like Daniel Tice and Nikola Vucevic and Lauri Markkanen got more buckets by a wide margin than Bam did down the stretch. And I was happy with the way he played for about 3.5 quarters, but I feel like the last 6 minutes or so, or when he came back into the game, was he didn't move the needle for us to win the game. I'm not saying it is solely on him, but he definitely could have played better in the last few minutes of the game. I mean, those 3 bigs combined for 59 points today. That's not ideal. And I know that's not all his fault, but at some point it becomes
his fault. Yeah. At some point, it is his fault. You're our second best player. The game needs you to help Jimmy. You did not do it. That's the long and short of it. Brian, Jimmy or Bam? I mean, not Jimmy or Bam. Bam or Goran?
I'll do Goran again. I'm surprised he played 35 minutes. It just didn't feel like he was out there for that long. And, apparently he was flirting with a triple-double today. So
he got close.
That's good. But, again, when you go up against a team like the Bulls, who, I mentioned this earlier, they're one of the worst teams protecting the paint. I guess I would have expected Goran to put a bit more pressure on the rim and attack and, get fouled. And it felt like he was kind of setting up for a pretty decent game in the first quarter. But, after that, he just kind of faded. And I get it. He's 30. I don't know how old he is. I think he's in his late 30s. He's old.
35.
Yeah. By NBA standards, he's an older guy. So I guess it's what I expect from him, but I don't know. I guess I felt a bit underwhelmed with how he played, at least from a scoring perspective.
Hold on. Baby Shaq, I think Baby Shaq went to my high school. That's why he's my friend on Facebook. So Ariel, you get Bam, bro.
So I agree with generally more or less what's been said about Bam. As for tonight's game, I thought he played well. He didn't play great. I thought that he definitely should have, and obviously could have given the Heat more when the game was really in the balance and when it counted most in the fourth quarter. They need him to be more aggressive and look to take advantage of like when he's got Daniel Tice on him. I don't give a shit what that dumb scout said last year. That matchup is not a wash. No. That is not a wash. Bam has a significant advantage both in speed and just in his general offensive repertoire, where he should be able to score on Daniel Tice more or less whenever he wants.
He doesn't.
He does. What do you mean he doesn't, Ricky?
Bam?
Yes.
Bam's got all the. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, man.
So what I'm getting at is
No,
do that. No, I want to hear what do you mean by he doesn't have enough.
No, it's wild. Like, I mean, just look at tonight. Bam had 23, 6, and 2. Mm-hmm. Daniel Tice had 23, 12, and 5. You want to talk about random scrub heat killer?
Are you saying that's their wash?
Yeah, but are you saying that that's like standard for Daniel Tice? Because I can bet you it's not.
No, I mean, he played up. I mean, look, even Nikola Vucevic, 24, 11, and 2. Like, Bam has all the ability. Bam has all the ability to be so much better than these guys. There's a reason it was so close or whatever that he didn't necessarily become an all-star this year. I mean, he should be a lot further along than he is right now, considering what he's capable of. We know what he can do. We know he can attack the basket. We know he's got a feathery soft touch from mid-range that we saw in Brooklyn that one night. He has all the ability, but for some reason, except for that one game last week where he hit the game winner, 3 nights later, he has 9 points.
No, here's where I disagree with you, Ricky. It's not that Bam should be better. Bam is better than Daniel Tice. That's a fact.
Well, not tonight.
That's a fact. Okay, fair, but
that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I think. That's what Ariel was getting at. Like it's like,
Bam, okay,
yeah, Bam is like with Vooch. With Vooch, it's like Bam is either on par or better than Vooch. Like that's kind of where. That's kind of where I am with him, like in terms of how I look at him. But go ahead and finish your point, Ariel.
Where I was going was that Bam has the offensive game and has enough moves and things that he can go to where he should be able to take advantage of guys like Daniel Tice on him, and especially Nikola Vucevic. Defensively, Nikola Vucevic is not a great defender by any means.
He's trash defensively.
Right. Like he's gonna drop all day, and he there's a significant speed difference between him and Bam. Bam should be able to get to the cup or get to that mid-range jumper, the floater in the lane, whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and he just sometimes chooses not to do it. So to me, a lot of it is on Bam. There's no denying that. But I think a lot of it, and again, we're going to go back to Spo here, is on Spo. Bam needs to be used in more offensive actions where he's designed to be the primary outlet or the primary option on that action. So more screens where Bam gets going downhill, where the ball handler, whether it's Duncan Robinson, who's improved with the pocket pass, or Jimmy Butler, who has phenomenal court vision and can get the ball back to Bam when he's rolling to the rim, need to be implemented in the game. More elbow plays, stuff like that, where Bam is going to be put in a position to score, and it's just not run enough for him.
I want to give you a little pushback on that because I think that dribble handoff thing is Bam is making the decision. So he has the option to use that speed advantage whenever. He doesn't, though. Like, are you saying that Spo should tell him, don't hand it off?
That play is designed for Duncan Robinson. I hear what you're saying, and you're right. You're right that Bam has the option to turn and face the basket if the defender plays over or whatever it is. He can take advantage of that, and you're right. And I agree with you that part of it is definitely on Bam. At least 50%, 60% of the blame is on Bam. I'm not putting it all on Spo. Okay. Bam's developing that mentality. He's doing things offensively that he wasn't last year. But I just think that, look, that play is primarily designed for Duncan to get open.
And you're talking about doing more so of the stuff like where Duncan is screening for Bam, like in the last game where Bam got downhill, get the dunk. Mm-hmm. Or, okay, I get it.
Kelly Keeper. Haven't seen that in a long time.
That's a Bam decision thing, but yes.
That's a Bam decision thing. That's what I was talking about.
Baby Shaq, Kelly Keeper.
Thank you, Scott, for the $10 dono. He said, will Bam ever wake up and realize he needs to take over games? I'm getting frustrated. We have this conversation every game, it seems. Yeah, look, we have it every game right along with y'all, and y'all sit up here and watch us have it. Like, it's a tough conversation to have every game because we see the same thing that you guys see in terms of the potential and what he can do and what he's not doing. Ariel, pay Biscayne Bay Brewing.
Yes, delicious Biscayne Bay Brewing. Listen, are we doing a graphic? No? Okay, so after a game like tonight, specifically a game like tonight, now you can have a beautiful Biscayne Bay Brew, a Marlins Lager, a Miami Pale Ale. They're located in the heart of Miami. You've got the Tropical Bay IPA, the aforementioned Marlins Lager, the Pastime Pilsner. They've got a selection of delicious beers, Miami Pale Ale, La Colada Porter. After a game like tonight, I was going to say when the Heat win, but frankly, you never really know when that's going to happen anymore. It doesn't matter who they're playing. So win or loss, you're going to want to grab one of these after the game because likely that game is going to stress you the heck out. So check them out. You can get them anywhere you want. They're the official sponsor of the Miami Marlins, I believe, or one of the sponsors. So delicious beer. You need it after a game like tonight. Biscayne Bay Brewing.
They're the official craft beer of the Miami Marlins and the official independent brewery of the Miami Heat.
Delicious.
There you go. Thank you so much, Alejandro, for the graphic. So let's move on to the next game. This one was a stinker and whatever at this point. Brian, we're going to start with you tonight, bro. We play San Antonio next. I don't feel good about playing Popovich again after we just beat him because you're not going to get the best of Popovich 2 times in 8 days. That's just how I feel. But I'm going to ask you, is the boy feeling good?
You know what? The boy feeling good because this team is up and down, right? They just came off of a down, so they're gonna peak and they're gonna look great. In fact, I'm gonna predict it's gonna be, damn near blowout. They're gonna control the whole game. It's gonna look fantastic. We're gonna come on here, be like, what can this team do in the playoffs? Yada yada yada. And yeah, that's where I'm going with this. They're gonna look fantastic.
Turn me up, damn, Brian. Gadiel Cartagena, the boy feeling good.
The boy just watched Gabe Vincent play 30 minutes of NBA basketball. The boy is officially numb to whatever happens on a Miami Heat basketball floor. Whatever happens. I will live with it. But the boy has no feeling. Whatever happens.
Welcome.
Whatever. Hopefully they win.
Okay. Ricky, the boy feeling numb?
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel good. The Spurs are 31-29 in the Western Conference. Okay, that's different than being 32-29 in the East.
No,
right?
29 and 31.
Okay,
They're below 500, no?
No, the Spurs are 31 and 29.
I'm
Have
staring
they won
at
3
the
straight since
standing.
we beat them?
Yeah,
I'm
weren't
looking
they-
at it right now. I'm looking
That's
at it
crazy.
right now.
I apologize.
Trust me on this. Yeah. They're 31-29. I mean, I'm not saying they're a better team, but come on. Like, they don't lose games like Miami has this season. They're just where they are. So, no, Miami's going to lose.
They did
But
lose.
y'all knew that already.
They lose to Miami.
What, you said y'all? Whoa, wait, hold up. You said y'all?
Y'all
what?
do what?
You said
said
y'all
y'all
do that
knew that
already.
That Miami's
Yeah.
going to lose?
Are you
I
calling the
don't
Miami
know
Heat y'all now? So are you a full-on
Man.
Nick? Are you full-on?
Man.
Well,
Oh, you trying to get
well,
him
I'm talking to-
canceled?
I'm talking to-
Damn.
I'm talking to 4 people right now, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
So, y'all,
Man, so
you
y'all.
all.
You all. You know,
I
it's in
thought
the
you were
Urban
talking to the Heat
Dictionary.
there as a Knicks
No,
fan to
man.
the Miami Heat.
Well, you know, the
I was about to
I mean,
boy,
we
virtually throw
lost
hands,
it.
Ricky. I was about
Hey.
to virtually throw hands.
Yeah? Mm.
the boy. Y'all, hey,
Send you a
listen.
rude email.
You know, the boy. Look at the boy, super producer Alejandro, putting you all down there. Go
Thanks,
ahead,
Alejandro.
Thank you, Alejandro. So, Ariel, the boy feeling good?
The boy literally hasn't known how to feel in a while now. The boy knows that the Heat have a tendency to be up and down, as Brian mentioned, but I have a bad feeling about this one. The Heat, most teams have, kind of struggled to win back-to-back games against the same team. I know it's not back-to-back, but the games are shortly not too far apart. So Pop's a great coach. I think they find a way to beat the Heat, and I'm going to pick against them. The boy's not feeling good.
Boo! I'm on this train with my boy Brian. The Heat finna blow that shit out. Fuck is you, Tim? Man. Listen.
Isn't that like winning by 4? I don't know what a blowout feels like.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Yeah.
No.
You know, the boy picked them to marginally win against the Chicago Bulls the first time, and they did that. But I say blowout. A blowout for Miami this year is like a win in general. Like, anytime they win, they blew that shit out. So I mean, it's gonna be by the hair on our chin that we get up out of there. But we need to get up out of this play-in tournament, because if we do, then I don't foresee good things for Miami. Look, we done paid most of the bills already. Let's talk about some of these shows that we got coming up. Brian, you get to talk about the
Facts.
shoot around.
Yes.
Ricky ain't salty. I missed it. Ricky ain't a salty Knicks fan. He's just right.
It's true. Deal with it, Heat fans. Deal with it.
Ban him.
Brian, talk about the shoot around, bro.
All right, so the shoot around is a 142nd clip. I guess it's short enough to call it a clip that Gad and
Yeah.
Ariel do every game day morning. You can find it on one of their Twitters, or I guess technically it's on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. So if you want to go from a smooth brain, I don't know about who the Heat are playing, what's going on with basketball, to a super smart, deep crevices in your mind type of person, you want to watch the shoot around. You want to get that information and know exactly what's going on in your basketball world. So check it out. There's going to be one on Wednesday, because that's when the Heat play, I believe. Okay, cool. It's going to be a shoot around that Wednesday morning. So like I said, check it out on one of their Twitters, or check it out on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. You're going to enjoy it. Guaranteed.
I like
You know what's
the
wild
word
about this show?
crevices. I like the word.
Yeah,
crevices.
I love that.
Oh, no.
I love the
Fun
word.
fact.
crevices.
You see, here's what's crazy, right? Like I remember the very first, no, not even the very first episode. It was like one of the first, second, or third, one of those. I started watching that show. I was as bald as my forehead. Okay. After that episode ended, okay, all of this, it
Luxurious.
just grew.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Baby.
Yeah.
It just grew. Like I don't know what's going on. It's just wild. I'm not promising you that it will regrow your hair, but if you watch the shoot around, both on YouTube and on their respective Twitter pages,
it has not worked for me, Ricky.
or me.
I took it from you guys.
Yeah. See what happens.
There we go. So Gadiel Cartagena, you get to talk about walkouts and knockouts today.
Walkouts and knockouts. Listen, Ariel, I tuned in last Saturday, right?
You did.
I woke up from a nap at around like 4:30.
You and Brian,
to be exact. But yeah, no, they talked about Jorge Masvidal and Kamaru Usman. I believe you guys did a fantastic job of breaking that down. So good that I actually watched that, and I went and I got my ass kicked out in the street, same way that Jorge Masvidal did. So I learned the tactics from you guys. Like, you guys taught me. So that's what you learn from walkouts and knockouts. You learn how to fight or not fight. It won't regrow your hair. Probably give you a black eye, but that's totally fine because it's a good show. Make sure you sub to the YouTube channel. You comment and say Ariel and Jonathan Ramakhan are the best on the planet, and watch some more fighting every Saturday because there's not going to be much more Heat basketball to be played on Saturdays.
They also did this really funny thing on Walkouts and Knockouts where they had this bit, right, where they pretended to support Jorge Masvidal. In reality, they really like Kamaru Usman.
Of course.
So it was, because they support Africans and they support black people.
Mm-hmm.
And anything outside of that is racist, and they're not racist. That's who they supported.
I'm with that.
And that's who won. It was great.
Gang.
It was
That's
fantastic.
What's up?
Yeah.
Ricky, you get to talk about the full court press today. I am a revolutionary. I hear you, Mike Ricky.
You know what? Look, see, the full court press, I got to say it's life-changing because here's the thing. All right. You got three of the most up-and-coming, I'm not going to say youngest because that comes with some negative connotations about whether they know anything or whatever. But look, you got three up-and-coming basketball minds here on this network that are really going to bring the pain, so to speak, okay? And that pain is ignorance leaving your brain, okay? I didn't even try to rhyme there, okay? That's what the full court press does for you. This is an actual NBA show where they talk about NBA stuff, all right? This is cool, okay? Not only that, okay? In addition to make sure that the full court press gets out there, all right? You will see it on the 5 Reasons Sports Twitter feed, or not just the Twitter feed, but the podcast feed. You won't miss it. You will get analysis. You will get takes. You will get some quirks, some jokes here and there. And at the end of the day, look, okay.
Not a chance, Chino.
No, you see, matter of fact, I'm gonna break from this for a second. Here's the thing. When it comes to people that we on good terms with, it's not a competition. There's enough room on the table for everybody. Okay, we don't take shots at people. We don't we support. We show love because that's what it's all about. It's just love because there's room at the table for anybody. Full court press. It's on. When's it gonna be? Is it this Thursday?
It is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. And okay, Ricky,
tomorrow night.
Can you tell them about who I gave credit to last week? Is a team that you might be a fan of?
So here's the amazing thing about the very first episode of the Full Court Press. Okay, Gad had a moment of clarity and actually showed love to the New York Knickerbockers.
Kick him out, Alejandro. Kick out Ricky. Now, toodaloo. Ariel, you get to talk about Feel the Heat.
Ah, yes, Feel the Heat. What is Feel the Heat?
Feel the Heat. I got this one. All right.
Oh, I'm just kidding, guys. Feel the Heat is a heat culture show. It is a podcast being put out for your listening and not viewing, but listening pleasure by Alana Tahauer and the powerful and intelligent. Also, Alana Tahauer is very powerful and intelligent, but the powerful and intelligent Michael Fivaris, and I will give him his flowers. He is a hardworking, intelligent, and hilarious individual. You should check that out.
Flowers.
That is. He loves flowers. So you can check that out on, I guess, hit
Tulips.
up Alana Tahauer's and Michael's timelines. You find links to it. It's a phenomenal listen. Everything heat culture related, they got you covered.
It's on the YouTube channel as well.
On the YouTube channel as well.
I was going to say
the super producer, everybody, the maestro of the YouTube channel.
I got kicked off.
Right, and since you talked about Michael, I got Michael Christian. I will be on with Michael Christian, Juan Cardona, and Kai Chen Chisholm tomorrow on the Extra Yard to talk some NFL draft stuff. They have shows tonight. They have shows tomorrow. They have a show Wednesday, and then we have a draft show on Thursday. So make sure you stay tuned into the 5 Reasons Sports Network. If you're an NFL person, make sure you check us out. We got full coverage for you there too. And it's going to be a transition really soon, coming from Heat basketball to Dolphins football, and what we guys want you to be here for. So as always, thank you guys in the comments for making the show much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to my guy Brian Young, Ariel Latias, Gadiel Cartagena, and Ricky J. Mark for joining me on the post-game, post-up show. Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, and all that good stuff that YouTubers like to say. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Play the video, Alejandro.